guys, so a new prediction for next week. Next week is a shorter one. There is no trading on Monday. So quick recap for last week. You watched and saw I drew the Fibonacci level here, and the prediction was we're gonna see a movement to the upside. You can see I drew last week this line on the stochastic. Just push over and move to the 416.60 and see this level. The high was 416.67. Touched it, reverse, and break again to the base. So this is the baseline. It didn't broke, it didn't close below. So just looking at it, the target is the 400 and 150, even can go maybe to the 200, and just for the round number's sake, probably spike and then see if it wants to push up. It reached the high level, now this is the low level it needs to reach. So this week it was a sideways move to the upside, move to the downside. Let's look at it on daily how it looks. So this is Friday. It basically moved to the upside, took out some small stop losses, and then moved to the downside. Again, hunting stop losses, and then rest on this close. You can see this they closed 408.04. This is 407.26. If I'm correct, close 400 and this one 408. Yeah. Sorry, this is the open I need to watch. The open 406.06. This is the open 405. So it opened a little bit higher. So there is still no indication if it wants to go lower. I did mention I want to see the price action move to the downside, resting even on this 393 area. This trend resting from above and then move to the upside. But it didn't, so a lot of pressure. You can see the stochastic broke the trend, so this is a strong push. You can see the volume coming up and the bar is trying to hold. If they fail, we can see the push to the downside. So let's look at the 4-hour chart and see. 789. All right, so the low is 789 and here it's 5. So we have a lower low here. And let's see what we got here. This is 404.15, 404.15. This one 404.05. So we also have lower low, which means there is no indication of some sort of divergence, sideways move. We can see that it wants to move higher, probably touch the 15 and then continue on the move to the downside. We can see the trend changing, trying to shift here, and you can see it too long. It was a sideways move from basically from the start of February. It basically did nothing, coming from here and went there. So sideways move all February. February is 0. And usually February is ending in a negative. So if it will push for the last week down, can close below this one and fulfill the statistics of February. If we look where it is, this is it. You can see it, the trend is moving down, changing, resting on the blue, giving the final push and then break to the downside and resting on some support. So we can assume that if one touched here to the blue, even final push and then break to the downside, resting again maybe on the 380, 385 area. So let's see what we got. At the moment, the algo is saying that could be a reversal. The reversal could push to the 410, 50, even the 412, and then push lower a little bit. And if the bars will come again from the 4.6 and 4.7 and push higher, it could break the 4.12. So something like this, pushing up to the 4.10, 4.11, coming down here and resting. And then if they break it, it can move to the upside for the next level. Could be tricky. If not, the drop will push lower to the 384, 385 area. So if we won't manage to do so, it could do something if it can bounce here and then move up and then rejected all the way to this area. So this is an area of support, and could be a nice drop. We see the momentum negative, it didn't cross below the zero, but just a red candle at the opening could put it lower, and then we can try to fake push to the upside and then push to the downside. So this is like more good scenario to do, just following the momentum here. But any push to the downside will meet buyers. So this one is good. So yeah, can push to the 410, 410.80, and then we could see in both scenarios, and then we can see if the sellers are much stronger or the buyers. Let's look at it on the monthly. You can see it didn't, so you can see it here. If the month will end like this, basically it's some sort of reversal to the 392, and yeah, could reach here 383, 384 area, and that won't be good, even though my prediction was for 2.5 months of sideways move and then looking for a break each side. We go to the weekly, you can see it resting inside candle. This one broke a little bit, so the sellers are in control. See how they push it, push it, push it. The buyers try to push a little bit, fail here, try to push, so it could make a second push to the downside. I don't think I can something. See, you won't see it here. Where it is. Something like this. You can see it. But this is up, up, and down. It doesn't inside. You don't have exactly the same. So you can see it's something like this, and then another red, and then push to the upside. So this is on the weekly. We draw the extension line like this. You already draw it. You can see how it rejected, rejected, rejected. So need to rest on the 400, 398, and they decide if it want to break to the downside. The momentum on the weekly and the trend on the weekly is still negative, even though the buyers came in here. You can see it here. There is no divergence. This is higher, high, higher, high. There is no divergence. This is lower, low. So basically, we have the start of a trend to the upside. But does it have the power to break above the 430, 440? and move to the highs. I don't know yet. We have the break of, let's say, like it's shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break of this weird neckline, angle neckline, and then trying to break. I will be more happy if it could come down, rest on it, move sideways, and then move to the upside. We go to the 1 hour chart, see what happened there. So you can see it moving to the upside. We saw the break. We knew that the price will come to this area. And then a lot of sellers came. You can see the volume. See here the volume. A lot of sellers came because this is the break area. A lot of stocks here lefting. It's tried to squeeze them out. Again, it moved upside and then open with a gap down, immediately push to the upside and fail, continuation. And what we have there, this is what confused me. We have a short continuation. So this is making higher high, this one making lower high. So it means that if we see its break, this is a short continuation. So let's check it and see Fibonacci level. And so it can reach to the 410, even the 49. You can see the 410, the F4, 8, 9, and 10. This is a good area to push. Much better is the 410 here, and then rejected and move to the downside. So to put it something, if we do the extension there, 1, 2, let's say where it is, something like here. And then you have the area to reach 395. You can even rest here. The trend there. If we go again, let's go for the daily. See how it looks. Something like this. Could be a nice move to the downside. All right, let's create up. Let's go for the Qs. Qs basically did the same, but a good one rejection, move to the upside. Second rejection, a great one. So it's basically resting and it's moving down. So any move to the downside on the daily, it's here, will create divergence to the upside. So assume it reached to the 287, it will be good. So again, something like this one. Even the 280 again will be a great move, the high. So do we have the power to do so? Let's examine the 4-hour chart. It didn't has the power to reach there. Did move again. It didn't touch the blue, so I will want. Also, it's a little bit stronger than the S&P, even though the momentum is changing. This one, you can see it here, 460. This is 8. So high, low, and let's see here, 397.25. 298, sorry, 297. So again, the same sideways move. Didn't give indication for a stronger reversal. So it can mean that we're gonna see a small push to the upside and then coming back, even though the Qs has some resistance at the 301.50 area. I do see it again with the SPY trying to move to the 304, even a little bit higher, 305, and then rejected and moving down. And next target is 294 for the Qs, where it is someplace here. so it can spike, and if it reached there, it could push lower to the 280. So I'm more convinced that it should and could move to the 280 than to break for the upside. I could get wrong. So if I see it move above the 306 with a nice green candle, it means invalid. I don't know if it want to touch here again the 313 again and then rejected, make a double spike there and then reject. I don't know. I do know. I see the momentum is going for the downside. Price isn't moving down, which means the buyers are holding the price. So it could move a little bit and spike higher. And remember, any move to the downside can create a divergence. If we go to the weekly, you can see here the buyers were more strong here than the S&P. Sellers try to push, buyers push, so could make a triangle and break either side. This is good one. There is no divergence. There is a divergence from here. If we go the retracement line, take it, you can see it didn't touch at the 316. So we're probably trying to build position and then try to push to the upside. But again, I do want on the weekly, you can see the trend is still down. It's need to break the 337 in order to push higher and free all those area of supply and demand. But at the moment, I want to see it coming down, resting sideways a little bit, and then breaking to the upside. If we go to the 1 hour chart, look it, you can see moving up, breaking, coming to the break point and moving down. I do see it coming down already, divergence. It didn't finish, so be careful. There is no indication finishing the divergence, so it could even push a little bit higher and push a little bit here. And if it managed to break those area, be very careful because it can do the reversal and then continue higher. So this area 308, maybe even lower if it closes above the 306, 306.20. The scenario for the downside is invalid, but at the moment I do see it going for the downside. You know what, let's look at 15 minutes. Let's see if we can see something there. The 15 minutes coming up, breaking point. Do we want to reach the 395? Could. Is a good area of supply and demand. Even the 290. Let's go and look for, sorry, do we have a gap to close? We have a gap here, 287. We have small, maybe small gap there to 27 here also. Small gaps from the downside. So let's see, this is an interesting candle, wait for it. Probably a lot of people will enter above the 302, the upside. I will wait. Don't like those, even though lots of people will get them. Decisive market. Let's go to Tesla and see what it tells us. Alright, Tesla still has a lot of power, even though this move to the downside creates some weakness, and then it pushed higher, but it pushed from a weakness point position, so it could try to break the 211 to 12. If it does, try to break and touch the 220 and reach our target. This is the end target, and from there reverse. So give people some sense of moving to the upside and then reject with a big move to the downside. There's still no divergence, so momentum is going down, much stronger than the market. It's still positive, so I do see it move to the upside and then break. So this week, I don't know if Tesla has the power to continue the run for the upside and bring the market to the upside. I think that S&P probably would push to the downside, then the Qs, and then Tesla will follow. So let's see if we can see something here. If we want to see a weakness with Tesla, we need to see a close below the 202, where it is. If it's closing below this area, could fall back to the 188 and even try to touch the 170. There are several key areas. It doesn't seem weak, but 220, 202. Next target 197, 196. And if it break it, it will push up again to the 200 and then will fail for the downside. If it fell for the downside, next target is the 173, 172. This is the 200, which would be a nice move to the downside. You can see it resting between those pressure point, the 200, and this trend. If we go to the weekly, you can see how it looks. Moving, sellers came in, buyers came in, lots of position. Volume is strong, but you can see any move to the upside will create a divergence. So I don't care even if it move here and touch the 224 area. You could see it will create a divergence and then it will drop down. This is the 50 level and next to 33, a good area to reach, and then falling for the downside. And if it will fall, this will be the extension. Let's see it. You could see it here. This could be a good area. Yeah, I still want to see Tesla below the 100. Really bad, I want to see it, but I don't know if it has the power. This is negative. Would be interesting to see it. Let's clear it up. Sorry. Let's look it on this is the weekly, monthly. You can see it. I will show you why I have this line, but you can see this is a nice reversal from it. Probably people trading it to the 237. Finish it reverse. This is the reason why a lot of investors are just buying it blindly. So it could, I can see it moving here again and then pushing to the upside later this year. Let's go for the 1 hour chart. Let's see why it couldn't touch here and then reverse. I don't know. You can see the big volume on the downside, so sellers in control, smaller volume to the upside. Moving up slowly, so sellers controlling the price. It didn't give the buyers opportunity to push the price up, create divergence. Let's see. Yeah, cross a little bit, so just red candle can push it to the downside. Now, if you wonder, let's go for the 5 minutes. And this is the line I traded on Friday. I draw on the 1 minute, I draw it. And then I see the break, red candle, enter, took quick partial. Took me the second partial, it took me here because I was afraid moving to the upside even though I was in profit. Didn't want to stay too long. It did another push and then moved to the upside. If you want to look it on the 1 minute to see how it looks, just a simple basic trading book, draw the line. I was waiting for the push to the downside. You could see the pressure 1, 2, 3 pressure. This is the 4th pressure. This is the close. I was entering below this one in this candle to secure the entry. It tried to push, take out all those buyers, and then they sold and aggressively. So nice 1 to 2. This is it. Let's come back to the daily. Let's move with Apple. Apple again, sideways move. Nice. Let's call it a flag. Some sort of flag. Rejecting both sides. Nothing special. The bar is in control. Again, I do want to see it coming down and then coming up. It touched here, moved to the upside as we predicted, moving to the downside, resting on the 151. So it still has some power to do another push a little bit. The momentum is still strong, nothing much there. And it eventually will break to the 148, I think. Let's hope this week. This is Apple. Let's go for NVDA. Bit much quicker. NVIDIA, the same, goes resting it on this one. I think it needs to touch probably again. Let's check it here. 1435, 1431. No divergence. You can see the computer is controlling, the bar is control, and the seller stop to sell there. Let the bar get in. Probably try to trap them, move to the upside, and then negatively move. It didn't bounce there. I think it needs to bounce. I will wait. If you want to get for as an investor for the longer term, for the months and years, be patient. Look for the move to the downside and then enter. Could be interesting. You can see the volume. This is high volume, high volume. So a lots of price action is happening here in this area. Let's move to the downside, bring more buyers, and then move to the upside. The trend already broke. So when the trend is breaking, I want to see coming down, give me confirmation that the buyers are strong. If it does move to the upside, it could be a big move to the downside. I don't want to see it. Let's move to Meta. Meta moving down slowly. Probably try to close the gap. I don't see the opportunity to reach to the 155. You can see that it moved down, buyers coming, move down, buyers coming, move down, buyers holding, move down, buyers coming. Slowly, volume is coming down. So sellers still not in control. It's moving slowly to the downside. Don't have much to say about it. Very weird price action. You can see the momentum is coming big, so it could push another fake push to the upside and then dropping to the downside. Maybe, yeah, there is a divergence already. You can see it here, making lower lows. This is higher low. This is a fake move to the downside. So this is a unique move to the upside. So Meta need to move to the upside. You know what? Let's look at it on NVDA again and see. No, it didn't give us yet. Let's see it here. This is one. It was moving a little bit slower. Maybe. No. On Tesla, sorry guys. No, I needed to move down and then. No. So coming back, let's go for BA. BA managed to break to the upside immediately. A lot of sellers there. So a lot of buyer came, sellers sold all the shares, and then again sideways move. This is nice. Should mean it move to the upside. So yeah, the market is still doesn't know what it want to do. And BA move to the upside again to the 217, even can break to the 222. There is the divergence there. Let's check it on the daily sideways. I don't like it. And it's too far from the 200, so move a little bit here and then push to the upside. But at the moment, seems that it wants to move to the upside. If we check it on the 60 minute, yeah, a lot of sellers coming, fake break, sellers coming again. Let's see it below here and then pushing to this area, close the gap, 190. This is T, higher high, lower high, can push maybe here and then will fail. If it managed to break here, it will push higher. So it seems easy, but it's tricky. Gold, perfect prediction to the 170 again area. You could see it where it was. Let's go for the daily. With the daily, you could see it here, and this is what I want to see on the market, on the stocks market. You can see it move to the downside, creating divergence. If we draw the Fibonacci, let's say from there, here, 170. This is the 6180. This is a good area to bounce from it, and then moving again to the upside. Could be a nice. Don't know if it will be nice for the market, but is a good area to retrace. Coming back here, this is next target and ends on 200. Yeah. Let's see. It means the sellers in control there, but buyers will come from this area and will push gold higher. So let's see how it will affect the stock market. Oil, Oxy again, coming back to the 60. We saw this coming back to the red line, rejected from here, fake push higher, and then immediately push to the downside, strong to the downside. You can see the volume. Again, let's see. No much sort of divergence, so could push lower. Be very careful. Next target 53.60. So be careful with it. Let's sum it up with the S&P. Right. So S&P a little bit tricky. Sideways move, no divergent, but we can see some stocks want to move to the upside. I don't know if they have the power to break to the upside, just move another in this zone. Be very careful from this zone. You can see the high, you can see the low area. I do see it coming up and then pushing down, touching the 400, 401, and then decide what to do. If it closes below, continuation to the 380. Same goes with the Qs. If you just push to the downside, so I'm a little bit biased to the downside on the longer term momentum, but I can see the push to the upside. Be very careful if it crosses below, momentum start to be negative, but any move to the downside will create divergence to the upside. So this is a good one. Just moving here, you will have the opportunity to re-enter and buy again to the move to the upside. So it's good one. So where are the sellers? What the seller think? If they will see opportunity to move, I don't think they will enter with a big volume to the downside. What they will do, they will give it move to the downside and then re-enter hard again from this area. So if it move down, they will give the buyers to re-enter and then will push hard. So all the buyers stop losses will just create a squeeze to the downside. with all the sell orders, and then they can push to the 380 and even much lower. Some people are still waiting for the market to reach to the 320. I know it was a scenarios that the market could do so. You can see on the weekly, it can do so slowly. And you know what? It will be a good one. It will be, even though it won't be good for all the investors out there, but it will release some pressure for the market in the much longer term. And there are still a lot of money to buy and invest from the 320. But at the moment, again, sideways move on the market in the weekly and the monthly. So be very careful. Thank you guys. Hope it helps. Give you some indication what the market could do and from where it could do it. And good luck next week. Bye bye.